on point here. Looks like only thing was we were a little bit off as far as the sequence. We're on point, but we were a little bit in the prediction. I think probably a little bit late. I'd have to go look at it, but reading it right now, I probably stated like bullish price swings with like a retracement, and that was basically that. It's an interesting day, but with everything said, hopefully you're watching earlier when I said there's going to be a steep decline ahead. We got the Ace of Discs for the following day, for the 10th. There's an Ace of Discs here. I'm not going to wait for that Ace of Discs to sell my puts, most likely. I'll likely sell the puts right at the open. Right at the open, yeah. And then likely what I would do is set myself up over the weekend with some like out of the money calls. And like maybe like a at the money put. Because we're gonna have a pop higher. So when we look at the 1 month, look. So on the 9th, universal hexagram, big steep decline. Opportunity was the prior day to get in. Or first thing in the morning also would have worked. And we have a month's trough or a month's low. It looks like we probably, based on what I'm seeing here, it's going to be a month's low up until this point. So when I talk about lows, guys, you got to take into time is a tricky thing. Okay, so a month's low doesn't mean it's the lowest low. It means it's the low at that time. It's the lowest low at that time, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But with that said, we should have a month's low or important trough here on the 10th, and then we gap up over the weekend. So gap down tomorrow morning, gap up over the weekend to a month's high or crest. So that's why I'm talking about buying out of the money calls. And I wouldn't spend too much on them. Out of the money calls are cheap. I wouldn't put a lot of money into it because they're cheap for a reason, but what I would be banking on is selling them on the 13th. So I would likely have them expire. If I wanted to be super safe, I would have them expire out on the last week of June. Because say I'm wrong, I'll have plenty of opportunity, and there's another crest here on the 24th to get out of those needs be. But likely what I'll do, I'm not gonna get those out that far because I'm pretty confident in this. So I'm likely gonna get ones that expire on the 17th, and either way, good or bad, I'll sell them on the 13th. And then on the 13th, in the midst of the decline towards the end of the day, I'll likely buy, let's see, this Ace of Discs will be a high. I think probably we'll see what happens on Monday. I don't want to plan out too far and then have it be wrong and people bought stuff. But you can see on the 13th we have a sharp decline. It's nullified, which when a card is nullified, it generally means that like there's something that transpires on the same time frame. So like in the time frame of this reading, in other words, for the 13th, there's something that transpires, making the steep decline not such a big deal, or not really. It nullifies it, and that's why I'm sensing a part of why I'm sensing a gap up. Also some clairkinetics. Clairkinetics is when things move on their own, or maybe they don't move on their own, but they accidentally move with somebody's help by accident. Point is it's movement that has more meaning than the mundane movement that most people, would look at it. They wouldn't even think twice about it. But in other words, clairkinetics, we have this, when I threw down the ruins, this card right here was pushed higher. That's clairkinetics for you. So tomorrow morning I'll likely roll my puts, buy calls, sell the calls on the 13th, and sell those puts on the 15th. That's the plan. There's also a trade opportunity here on the 14th, so a swing trade looks like between the 13th and the 14th. Likely, being that this is a Princess of Cups, likely means that towards the end of the day, I should buy calls and sell them the following day. We'll have a fast move higher, marking the end of a period of volatility. But don't be tricked. Get out of those. The following day, we have another significant volatile day and an important trough for the month. All right, guys, so hopefully you've been following along. Guys, I just told you there would be another significant decline, a steep decline. I forget the exact words, but at 12 o'clock I said, don't be fooled by this rally. There's going to be another sharp decline. How about some follows? How about some likes, my friends? I'm sure I just saved some people money on TikTok. Love to see, some support thrown back my way. And help us grow this channel on TikTok. We can help a lot more people. The stock market, my friends, you got to understand, I'm talking as somebody who was a Wall Street broker, who was a day trader, who was a proprietary options trader, a financial planner. I mean, you name it. And all the while I was studying special relativity, metaphysics. I was studying practical metaphysics, if you will. And uncovering much about the universe. But I can tell you from my experience in the finance industry, everything in the stock market is designed to take your money. Like, you're trading against computers. You're not trading against humans. You're trading against computers. And the computers are designed to manipulate your emotions. They know you're watching a chart. They know you have your wife's wedding cash, like to get her an anniversary present, you put that money in the market. They know that money is risky. They know you need that money, and you'll start thinking like, oh crap, what if I lose it? And what are they going to do? They're going to try and make you think you're losing it. Even when you're right, at some point it'll look like you're wrong. That's the stock market, because you're trading against computer algorithms. These are computers with artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities. They're machines that are employed by the richest people in the world. And that's what they're there to do. To make them money by manipulating the masses. So, we can help a lot of people. I got out of that industry. I mean, I walked away from I was a Wall Street broker. A college dropout becomes a Wall Street broker. Right? And I walked off because that dude handed me the book, The Wolf on Wall Street, and was like, be like this dude. I tried to help him. I tried to get him to read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. He was holding it, but I'm sure he bought it because it said power on the cover. As soon as I recommended it to him, I'm sure he never read it. Anyhow, so I walked away from that. After that company was another one and another one and another one. And I never found a company where people were actually doing what they needed to be doing to help people. All I found was people learning how to sell that they cared about you. Learning how to sell that they knew what they were doing, learning how to get you to trust them. Like, everything in finance is about sales. Just about. So it wasn't the right industry, but I have all of this knowledge, and having a near-death experience in the midst of it, around the time I took my Series 7 exam, it occurred to me that there's a reason for everything. And I clearly have a knack for taking the impractical and using it practically. And that's what I'm here to show you guys, that extrasensory perception can be used practically in the real world. It's not like, oh yeah, that exists, but, like everybody says, but, part of the problem is that the majority of psychics are predicting things that, like, you can be like, oh, well, they could have meant this. Was it this guy they were talking about? You cannot fake an S&P 500 stock chart. You can't. There's no, like, did he mean that? Especially if you have the lexicon as somebody coming from the industry who can speak in terminology that people understand. My friends, if you just found me, follow. This is free. It's some of the most valuable assistance in stock trading you will ever find. The majority of the people on the planet will never have this information. They don't even believe it exists, so they won't go look for it. You understand what I'm telling you? And in the meantime, you've got this and everything they're working with. So hit that follow button, my friends. and share it. Do I do free readings? I mean, I take requests and then I do them on the YouTube channel. We're going to get ready to do some like one card readings on here that we would do for free, but we're not quite set up for that yet. And the reason why I say I take requests and do it elsewhere, because this isn't your normal type of reading. You got to understand that this took me 22 years to develop. I didn't have a mentor. There wasn't anybody on the planet that knew how to predict the stock market using tarot cards. Okay, I developed it from scratch. Like a psychic couldn't do what I do because they don't have the system. I developed a completely different system of using the tarot. And in that system is partial system is what they would use, but there's so much more, and it takes time. It's not like I just pull a prediction out of a hat. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it just comes to me, you know, but with the tarot and predicting by the hour with a 98% average accuracy, that takes time, my friends. I take a photo of the actual reading and I basically dissect it. I find all of the relationships between the cards and different placements, and that's how I determine timing and behavior and sequence of events. And my friends, I am timing. I am. They say you can't time the market. Want to make a bet? Nobody would win that bet with me. You understand? Everybody will take it. Nobody will win it. So do me a favor and hit that follow. Do yourself a favor and hit that follow if you found this if you found this on TikTok just now, or on YouTube or Facebook. There's a reason for everything, my friends. And I would like to get as many people to help as many people as possible. Let's go to a 1 month. So you can see, here we go, guys. I mean, this is a definite setup for a drop. And again, we can look at the Mercury retrograde strategy here. Was this the third? Yes. So the pattern within these two lines, this is the pre-phase, the pre-shadow of Mercury retrograde. It was from the 26th of April to May 10th. All right, and that's the pre-shadow. So the first time that Mercury passes through the same area of the sky that it passes through 3 times during a retrograde phase. All right, so this phase, this phase, I should say, the post-shadow, or the third phase, the third time that the planet goes through the same area of the sky, it mirrors, in close resemblance, I should say, to the first phase. So you can watch what the first phase does. Don't trade in between these phases. It is the worst time to trade in the entire year. I'm telling you, don't trade during it. Just wait, be patient, because now you have a window here of what will happen here. And this is what was my Mercury retrograde strategy theory, I mean, years ago. But I've been studying Mercury retrograde in relation to the S&P 500 and stock charts since 2007. And I mean, I got to tell you, it's probably one of the most influential. I'd say it's more influential than the eclipses. They say that there's like a stock market crashes happen usually within 5 days of a solar eclipse. Well, I'll tell you that Mercury retrograde creates volatility. It doesn't mean it's the only time that there's volatility, but when Mercury retrograde pre-shadow and post-shadow are happening, there's a ton of volatility. I mean, we had when COVID came out and we had that huge catastrophic decline in February, back when, what was it, 2020, I think? You know, that was during a retrograde. That's all I got to say, my friends. I'm hopping off. If you're interested, in doing a reading, just like hit me with the comments or send me a message. Your best bet is to hit me up on YouTube. That's like where we really put everything. Everything else, all of our other social media has like partial stuff. YouTube has it all. YouTube is where we do our predictions. YouTube is where we have every single June trading day already up, posted, and predicted by the hour for the remainder of the month. And we're going to get into July over the weekend. We're going to post all the dailies for July over the weekend. And then we're going to get into it, really showing you guys what this stuff is made for. With that said, guys, appreciate you watching. Hopefully this has helped you. Hopefully you saw the earlier one where I warned about the sharp decline today. And hit that like, hit that subscribe, Share it with your friends who you think it'll help. Most importantly, when you make that money, pay it forward, my friends. I'll see you on the next one.